Imagine not being Leeds, not feeling this pain, not dancing through thunder, not walking through rain. Imagine not rising with fists in the air when the world turned its back and no one would care. We've lived in the ashes, we've drowned in defeat, but still we stand proud on our battered old feet. Imagine not loving with all that you are. Imagine not being Leeds.
We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
We do love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds for your latest edition of everyone's favourite Friday night show, Late Night Leeds. Get up, we are back. Come on. How y'all doing? Had a good week?
Yeah, been all right. Been good. Yeah, great start to the week, wasn't it, Monday? So
Brilliant start to the week, mate. If you want to start a week, your Monday morning always feels a little bit better when you know you're going to Elland Road or Leeds are on TV, however you watch the game. Beautiful, beautiful week it's been, mate, after that leading up to tomorrow. But yeah, Mrs. okay, dog's okay, everyone's well in Sean and Adam's world.
we're all calm in the house tonight.
Very
We're all
calm. Very calm. As most of you noticed on the last couple of videos I've done, I shaved a mustache off last weekend. Adam's never had a mustache. Trying to show us a little bit of close up to your mustache.
Oh, I just shaved it off. This is what
Took
I
it
got.
Did you literally just shave it off?
Yes.
He just took it off.
Yeah.
God. Did you open window? Did it blow away?
Open the window, yeah. And
He literally had. He
open the
literally
window
had
and God farted.
Mate, it
off
was
the
literally
wet.
the whitest mustache I've ever seen. It was so white. It was like snow.
If we're going to do it, all three of us are going to have to do it.
Yeah, but you might be able to grow a proper one. We do
I
it.
think I'll do a decent one, mate. Yeah.
We do it in a cricket club. Because I'm getting old, is yours not grey, Sean? It
It
feels
probably will be grey. Yeah, it will.
Yeah,
probably will
mine's
be,
pretty grey. And that's
Thing
why
is,
it's not
lads,
really
you
hot.
could grow one, shave it off, grow one, shave it off, grow one, shave it off, and I might be halfway there by then.
Yeah, but still, Adam's yours looked white.
Yeah,
pure
well, it is white, mate. Yeah. I was gonna. Yeah, it was just very white. Like, and my body
Nearly
doesn't
cancelled the
colour
stream.
anymore.
We nearly cancelled tonight because of that.
We really
You
did.
know,
Is anyone
Anyway.
else like flicking black, like the screen sometimes? Is that happening?
It did it
Mine,
once for me, yeah. I don't know what that is. It's probably your graphics, It's you can't get it right all the time.
Oh, okay. Right, good.
I'm only nobbling, but yeah, I did it once.
Yeah,
But
off the right foot. Great. Yeah, okay.
we move. But yeah, so obviously Monday night, let's get straight into it with the review of the Everton game. Brilliant at that, mate. Really good at that shit. But obviously, before we get into the bits and bobs and the generalisation of how fantastic it was, just another little clip of my favourite clip will always be I Want to Wait from my good mate, Statman Sean. Statman!
we've got to update that picture, lads. It's just
Nah.
We
Nah,
are,
you
mate.
know
you're
what?
never going to do, are you? You're never going to do.
That's staying like that forever.
Come on, mate. Give me some stats from the Everton game.
Stats,
pal.
I'm going to give you. I'll give you the game stats, and but I want to break it down into first half, second half, because it was a game of 2 hours. Really, obviously we dominated that first half, but overall possession 54% ball possession for Leeds, 46 to Everton. Total shots for Leeds 21, only 7 for Everton. Shots on target were poor, only 3 for Leeds, 1 for Everton. 7 corners to Leeds, 2 corners to Everton. Accurate passes 401 for Leeds, 324 for Everton. And we had a passing accuracy of 83% as a team. Now, going back to that first half, we know we dominated, didn't we? 63% possession. We had 12 total shots to Everton's 0. Unlucky though, we only had 1 on target out of 12 shots, which were poor from ourselves. A lot more passes, 254 in that first half. Second half came though. Everton did get back into it, didn't they? They had the most of the possession second half with 55%, and did actually manage 7 shots, but only registering 1 on target in that second half. Just want to touch on a few individual stats. Dan James, top speed, 21.7 miles per hour. Anton Stack, quality, wasn't he? Anton Stack converted the most distance out of all the players at 7.3 miles. Anton Stack had the most touches, 86. He also created the most chances with 4. And he also had the most shots of 4. Goodmanson, most successful dribbles with 4. And Pascal Struijk, 99% passing accuracy. And that's the stats.
Great stats, mate. Great stats.
So you can see how Donovan, I mean, Stack were brilliant, wasn't he? He was really good against Everton. Yeah, I liked him.
Mate, I think the only best place to start really is Anton Stack, innit? You know, we've all sort of seen bits in pre-season and thought he was the next coming, like, and I think it's sort of shown that he's going to be as good as what we all thought. I mean, I thought he absolutely run the show, on the ball, off the ball, everything you want from a midfielder. You know, he has it all. And I mean, Adam, come on, talk us through your feelings on Stack on Monday night, mate.
It's so long ago, isn't it? Like it feels like years ago. Like you get through one result and he goes on to the next one. A little bit of time to celebrate it. Stack was class. Stack was everything we expected, I think, or hoped we'd get as well. You look at, by the way, you look at the market at the moment and how we got Stack for 17 million is bizarre. If you typed in Anton Stack on YouTube before we got him, there's a lot of other clubs, YouTubers doing videos about him and saying why they should get him. You know, like all sorts of clubs as well. That background is dodgy, Matt. That it keeps flashing black. I don't know why.
Don't worry about it. We'll just go with it, mate.
Okay, all right, fine.
Part of the graphics. It's part of the graphics.
It's
I don't know what's. Yeah,
I could see his face earlier. It was proper bothering him. Is that?
I quite like it. I quite like it. Don't worry about it.
It's different. So yeah, Stack was everything we hoped. When we were buying him, a lot of people said, "Oh, he's a 4. He's played centre back." I knew he could do this role. I knew he could do the Declan Rice role. I told a lot of my mates to get him for FPL because he'll take corners, he'll take free kicks, he'll get forward, he'll score goals, he'll get assists. You got an assist Saturday for FPL, which is silly because that's that penalty. But there you go. Yep. Or Monday even. But yeah, he was everything we hoped for, and we got everything we wanted and needed, and he will be phenomenal this season. And I say I'm still, and I think I'll be pinching myself all season how we got him, because I think lots of clubs should have been in for him. He should be playing Champions League football, all those sorts of stuff. Don't get too far ahead of yourself, but he's everything you expected. Even looking at the stats, he was all there. He was all there while I was in Germany. Everyone knew how good he was, but it seemed like no one went in for him but us. We got him.
Yeah, no,
I agree. Yeah, the stats speak for themselves. Look at the distance he covered. You know, most out of all the players, and just looks different class. And somebody's put it in the chat there. The midfield, the whole midfield were quality on Saturday. You know, Ampadu, Tanaka. What a great 3 we've got in that midfield.
I felt. Sorry, Sean. I felt in the first half with Tanaka, I felt he was a bit rushed at times, and I felt he wasn't doing his normal thing of just taking the extra. It's only literally a split second. It's not slowing the game down at all. I felt he was just trying to move it a little bit too fast, and he got caught up in the momentum and the energy and the first game in the Premier League. Second half, I thought he put his foot on it, became Tanaka everyone knows and loves, and just controlled the game and the tempo. And also, he was moving around a lot more and he was getting the ball on the ball a lot more.
If you noticed how. It's a big comparison, but you notice how he finds space. He always looks like he's got a bit of space. It's a bit like Pablo Hernandez. He were great at that, Pablo, and that's a sign of a quality player. You know, players who can just find that little bit of extra space, give him that little bit of extra time on ball. But even when he's got it, it's great close control. And his first touch does it for me. He moves that ball away from danger straight away. He did it. I think it was first half. I don't know if it was around Dewsbury Hall. I don't know, but. It's just a simple, you know, first touch away from the player, and it gave him a bit more time to then make the pass off. So quality player Tanaka, yeah.
It's a really exciting 3. I think it's really exciting 5 to be fair, but the 3 that started played really well. Obviously they got most of the plaudits. Nmecha gets the goal too, which we'll touch on him coming on later as a sub. But I thought Gabby Goodmanson on that left back was honestly one of the picks of the match. He was absolutely phenomenal at left back. All his touches, getting forward. He seemed like he's got a little bit more like self control than what Furpo was. He doesn't bomb quite as far forward. He's quite cute, and with his positioning as well, and his little triangles he were creating. Honestly, I thought it was outstanding the way he moved up and down that left, and I do feel like he's a bit more defensively minded than Furpo. Yeah, he gets up, but he does seem to get back a little bit, and he'll put in some good tackles, winning ball on that left side. And I think he was a bit of an unsung hero. I mean, a lot of people have rated his performance; he was great, but he got outshone maybe by midfield. But I think he were out there as one of man of matches for me, lads.
Yeah, definitely. He was everything again that you'd hope for in that. But I mean, 10 million again. You'd hope for in a Champions League fullback. He's played, he's played Champions League. He progresses the ball. I think he could have taken a little bit more of a risk at times in terms of just pushing it and crossing it. He's got obviously a good crosser, but I think he's just a junior Furpo, a bit more control, and much better defensively because he's very fast as well. His recovery speed, he's quite. Him and Bogle together is like up and down the pitch, energy, speed. Ball retention, if they get the ball, they don't tend to lose it. They're really good at keeping hold of it. They're really good at recycling it, but also they can overlap. They both are very much your round modern fullback. Definitely.
Yeah, and like Matty said there, defensively, I thought he were better than I thought he was going to be, or he has been better than I thought he was going to be. And again, them like talk about little triangles, tight spaces, getting out of tight spaces. Him, Nonto, Stack coming in, dropping down onto that left hand side. Really great play, and it looks like they've really gelled together. Even all the new guys that have come into the team, they look like they've been here for a long time. The way they're moving the ball around. So great to see. Really surprised me. It did.
Did you feel sorry, mate. On the midfield three, I keep saying Solomon carrying on. On the midfield three, it was quite Bielsa Ball-esque at times because Stack goes to left back and left winger, and he joins that and makes the triangles. Tanaka goes to the right and joins that and makes the triangles.
Yeah,
and it works. And we had Aronson doing that last year, trying to do it. But obviously, he's only one player. Now we just shift the midfield over, and you have a player of talent. And also the way you work the triangle and the way Stack carried it away a lot of the time. Because it didn't really matter whether it's Nonto or Stack, you got into that space. Stack's so good at carrying the ball forward as well.
Yeah, he is.
Because most time. If it was an Aaron, not Aaron, it's not fair on Aaron, actually, he's half decent at that. But if it's sometimes it's just looking to get the winger away, but actually you can look to get the winger away and the centre midfielder away. It's there's a lot of variation in that play as well, and some link up was very Bielsa-esque. And I think we had the second most. I think we ran second most in the league last week as well in the first game.
Right, okay,
I think that's what I heard. So which very Bielsa again.
Don't surprise me. I did notice. I think you mentioned it, Matty, as well. It was that the number of times we switched the ball as well. Left to right, and we've not seen that a lot. And I'm hoping we do see that a lot more this season, especially picking Bogle out on that right hand side. Yeah, I agree. It's just great variation we've got now in passing ability. Now Stack's coming.
For 2 years Farke's been here, we've not had to play any other way than just get the ball down and play football, because guess what, lads, you're best players in this division pretty much. We haven't had to do any of this. We haven't had to worry about scoring corners. We haven't had to worry about that long ball switch from one side to other, and going direct at times when you need to, which we did when Nmecha came on. We haven't had to worry about that. Just the intricacy of football. We've had the best players. We can just play his game, and 9 times out of 10 it gets you through, and he did 190 points in 2 seasons. There were the evidence of that. Now it's nice to see the variation. I didn't know if Farke, not had it in the locker, but I didn't know if Farke were going to do that. If we were going to adapt, if we were going to see. In that game there was a time we went from 4-3-3 to 4-2-3-1, and Tanaka played in 10, and he were pressing like an absolute animal. Later in game as well, and the intensity were there. So, I could not be. It felt very much like the Stoke game under Bielsa, that first game where you look and go, some of these players were last year. Don't get me wrong, they were better than what Bielsa inherited. You look at wow, I didn't think he could do this. I didn't think he could do that. Wow, I was just so impressed. I just came out of stadium just like buzzing with, we're only 1-0, and there were a few moments in it where you get a bit twitchy. Although, to be honest, I never felt like we were going to lose it. But obviously, it was a tight game and we get a late pen. But I walked away just in awe of not only the team, but in awe of Farke and the whole. It was like a final, lads. The atmosphere was just incredible. We were all one of those games when you walk away from Elland Road, you're like, we were all one there. Like, everyone were just all pulling in the same direction. You look to your left, you look to your right, everyone just hugging it. It felt bigger than just a league game.
Yeah.
And that's because we're back in Premier League, and no COVID, no note to sort of dampen the spirits. And I feel like as a fan base, we can argue about, you know, whether we think we've got enough players, the right players or whatever. But I do feel like even the biggest cynic at minute, lads, feels this is proper this time, if you get what I mean. This don't feel like we're here to make numbers up. This don't feel like, you know, in Premier League for 3 years, 2 of them were shite. You know, we were on the decline, we were ready to go. You could see we were going down, you know, even when we stayed up at Brentford, you know. This feels proper. It feels like we're going in the right direction. And I walked away from stadium absolutely delighted. And I think I'd have felt the same, lads, if it had ended 0-0, because it was just such a positive performance where you could see in the players and you can see in Farke's tactics that we've got a bit more this year than what maybe I even thought we had.
I know you've just hit nail on the head there. You know, I know it's only one game, but I feel so more positive about this season now. It's after seeing that performance. It's and it's the signings. It's the fact the signings have come in. You've just said there about Tanaka, you know, playing in that number 10 role. Why didn't you do it last season? You know, apparently only Brendan Harrison can play that role. But you've just said it there. He were closing down. You know, we were screaming, you know, why are you not playing Tanaka in 10? Anyway, that's justified. And it's great to see that Daniel Farke is able to change his tactics. So you know, praises to him. And it's hope to the game on Saturday is going to be very, very telling as well, because I'm thinking he's going to have to tweak his tactics slightly again. So we're going to see them differences in tactics come Saturday. But yeah, great first start. I was so happy. And it's what a deserved 1-0. And I don't care what the other fans are saying, if a penalty or not, deserved. You know, we outplayed them most of the game, to be honest.
By the way, it was a definite penalty. I don't care what everyone says, because he kept his arm beside him. Even though he moved his whole body towards it and hit his arm. So he's moved his arm towards it and he's hit his arm. That is what a penalty is. That's what he's done.
That very last movement, wasn't it?
He moved his body towards it, didn't he? And it hit his arm like that. Yeah.
I know, but it's exactly that. But in essence,
it's not like he was stood still and it hit him. Not it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, if he had gone further and hit his sternum, yeah, fine. I think, by the way, the most important thing about this was, because you hear a lot of ex-pros saying, and it's quite interesting to hear ex-pros saying it, Elland Road's really important. That's where Leeds can get all their points. That's how they can stay up. But what the team did and what Farke got them doing was they matched the energy of the crowd. They matched the ferocity. They matched the aggression. And that was crucial. And I think that's what they did really well. That's what's given us all more hope than anything else, actually. The way they perfectly did that. There's some issues, obviously, and there's lots to build on as well. What was the result of us being so aggressive, etc. early on? We got some corners. We got 5-6 corners. We've got to do better on them. Stack's okay at taking them, but we've still got the same two. Rodon's never wins a header in the opposition box, and you got Strauch attack them, and that's it. And if Strauch doesn't go to Strauch, we don't win the header. End of story. So if that's going to be a result of what we do, that's the aggression. We've got to get better at those. We've got to, and that's something we should be working on. I was a bit disappointed actually. We aren't seeing more from that still. More from long throws as well, corners. I think we should see more rhythm. We should see some things from the training pitch coming onto the pitch now. We've got too soon because it's going to be crucial. But other than that, brilliant performance.
We've said, haven't we? You know, your set pieces are going to be key this season. You win games from set pieces. Arsenal did it against Scum at weekend. You know, it's vital. And like you just said there, we feel like we've brought in this big German, you know, tall Stack who can get on end of corners, and then he ends up bloody taking the corners. Typical Leeds, isn't it? That, but hopefully now we know. Does Okafor, does he take corners? That'd be nice. Jack Harrison, he takes corners, doesn't he? Yeah, we need a bit more physicality in the areas. Maybe that's where Bijol will come in as well.
It's mad though, lads. You look at Ampadu. He's got this long throw now. Why have we not utilised that in the last 2 seasons? We haven't utilised that in 2 years because, again, we haven't needed to. But there'll be moments in games where we needed a goal. Why have we never utilised that? All of a sudden, he can ping a ball in like it's a bloody corner. So
where was that last season?
Yeah,
you saw an occasion, but it was like when he took a throw in instead of the fullback taking it, so we get a little bit further up the pitch. That was it. Never into the box. And also, by the way, he can throw it absolutely miles, but the direction was rubbish. It was like almost curving away from the goal every single time. But again, you know, but that's the small margins. If he's doing it, he's got to be good at it. Like if we lose that game, it's those small margins, those half chances to actually get a shot away or get the ball into the box properly. It's really crucial, really, really crucial. And those small margins will cost us if we don't improve on them.
Yeah, definitely.
So
defending and attacking.
A bit of a. It's not a negative because I'm happy with the win and how it went, but just got to mention obviously how I've said it on one of my videos since Monday, how it's on such a knife edge of it turning into a negative atmosphere in terms of 0-0 late in game. If we concede that penalty and we lose 1-0, and then the fans are walking out the stadium, Ramazani's not touched grass again, and you've got Aronson and Harrison both playing on wings. If we lose that game 1-0, honestly, what a change, what a vast difference to however. And I know there'll be people in chat go, I'd have still believed in it, it was the right decision. But if we'd have lost that 1-0, that wouldn't have been the right decision. The fact that we did win 1-0, you know, it feels good and positive, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh well, Harrison did okay when he came in, and Aronson pressed for. But if it had been a totally different narrative, had we lost 1-0, and let's be fair, in pre-season or back in the last year, if we'd have said we'd have finished our first game at home against Everton with them two on wing, there would have been a lot of people say, I don't want that on the wing, you know. So it's quite interesting how you can sort of see the roles of some of these players now that maybe even we didn't envisage them having, but he got it right because we win the game. So it's just an interesting point I wanted to bring up and get your opinion on, lads.
It's a good point, because do you know what? Even if it was 0-0, there would have been, including me, it felt like a defensive option what we did, and it felt like an attacking option bringing Grealish on for them. And but actually, I say defensive in its simplicity, but actually what it did is it got us up the pitch through pressing, because we suddenly had more legs on the pitch, and Tanaka followed suit, and Tanaka went up, and suddenly we're high pressing all first half. Then we sat in a bit for the quarter of an hour, for 20 minutes of the second half. Then he got the legs on the pitch, and then we were. I think that obviously Farke's plan. He didn't mind the idea of sitting in for a little bit. He knew Everton. He knew if Moyes would get him to half time. He knew they'd come at us a little bit more. And he's probably said, lads, let's just sit in a little bit. We don't have to high press the whole game. And he said, and then he knew last 20 minutes he'd get those lads on, bring all the energy back to the side, and that worked. Everton weren't ready for that at all. We actually really rattled their cages. Man, half chances we had to find that final ball or shot in the second half from higher press. And Tanaka was leading it, but Aronson and Harrison were crucial to it as well, and Nmecha, to be fair.
Yeah, I think we were all scratching his heads. Why is Nonto coming off? I thought that if anybody, it'd been Dan James coming off. I thought he won at the races, what on Monday, one of his poorest games. And I thought moved on to it right, get Ramazani in on the left. I don't know what anybody else thinks of that. And then you see Aronson coming on, and you think, oh, here we go again.
What's going on here?
What's going on? Here we go. And then Jack Harrison coming on before Ramazani, which was surprising, but I could understand, especially with Nmecha coming on, and we'll touch on the Arsenal game. I like the fact Addison's a left-footed player who can get to that byline, and he did whip the cross in, didn't he? That led to the penalty, which I like that. I like that. You know, Willie Nonto did well, but most of the time we were just trying to cut in Willie Nonto. I'm not saying he put any good balls in. He did first half. He slipped Pido through, who nearly got on the end of one. Well, he did get on the end of it, just put it wide, but it worked well, didn't it? And like you say, it's fine margins in this game. Fine margins.
What did you make to the penalty then? So obviously we get the penalty, rightly or wrongly, whatever anyone wants to say. But Nmecha gets it. I'm sat at the stadium. He gets the ball, and we're not too sure, if he's going to pass it to Strauch. And in that moment, you see Paddy Bamford hold it for 2 minutes to try and make keeper, second guess who's taking it. But I absolutely love that. And don't get me wrong, looking at the body language, I don't think Strauch wanted it. I'm sure he might have missed one of his last penalties, maybe. I don't think he wanted it. And Nmecha, honestly, from where I was sat up in Gods, it looks like Ivan Toney. So I'm watching him take a penalty. I think it's Ivan Toney taking a penalty. And he absolutely, slots it away lovely. And let's be fair, Pickford, out of all the keepers you'd want to face in a penalty, it's probably the last keeper you'd want to face. He's such a good penalty. To be fair, he's such a good keeper in general. We're wasting time. Proper shithousery all game. For Everton, great goalkeeper for them. But yeah, but a little bit nervous when we initially got it, thinking, it's against Pickford. But Nmecha absolutely, smashed it home. And I kind of think is exactly what we need in that sort of game state, coming on late, that last 10, 15 minutes when you need a goal, you need to go a bit more direct. And I do think he's a good player, lads. I think he's very underrated. The fitness is the reason we got him on a free. If he'd never had fitness, a lot of these players, we're getting at Okafor and stuff, a lot of these players, we've got them for free or a decent fee because of their injury worries. Again, if he stays injury free, he'll get a lot of minutes and he'll get a lot of moments in games to win us points, lads. I've got no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's a real option. First thing he did, I think, or one of the first things he did was come in. I think. Oh God, I forgot the name. Who's the centre back gave away the penalty? I forgot his name. Everton.
Tarkowski.
Tarkowski, yeah. The first thing he did, Nmecha, was literally ran. He played down the line, and Nmecha just ran through him. He just cleaned him out. I thought, oh, this is interesting. This is a bit different. It's Alan Smith-esque. He just put himself about, made sure the defenders knew he was there, and the penalty was just. And the interview after, just so cool, calm, and he knew he was always going to score. He's got that faith in his ability. Yeah. He's got that ego. He's got that
totally different to Bamford in his whole presence.
Yeah.
You look at him as a fan, let's say watching from Gods, he's just got an aura about him. And he's no big name Charlie, you know, he's still got a lot to do in game, but he's just got an air of confidence. And I love that because we've had a striker lacking that for so many years.
Yeah,
absolutely. I don't like defenders taking corners, mate. Taking penalties, sorry.
I don't.
I'm one of those. Unless it was Stuart Pearce back in the day. He's only one, but I was surprised. I thought sod's law, Pirro's gone off and we've bloody get a penalty, but apparently he's took penalties before Nmecha, so and then he was quite good at them. So he's it looks like he's the second one in line for penalties.
Yeah, 100%, mate. It was brilliant, mate, when he came on. But
he's a unit, isn't he? He's a unit. Like I say, he's got great physicality. You just got to keep him fit.
Really good player. 126 in the chat. Watching. Thank you very much for being here. Please stick a like on the video. 53 likes currently. Try and get that to 100. I would love that. Thank you very much. So moving on from the game. Fantastic win. Great way to start the season, especially when Sunderland won 3-0 and I were getting DMs from Sunderland fans taking Mick. Obviously, with me having the bridge in the gap, it was nice to get that win. And moving on, obviously, to Arsenal. But Okafor. We know the presser were coming yesterday, and Okafor gets announced. I think they did that on purpose an hour or two before the presser, knowing that Daniel Farke would get asked about it and would end up announcing it like he did the previous one. So Okafor signs, no massive drama there, no surprise there. We sort of knew it were coming. Done a bit of digging. Again, fits sort of like the strategy they've sort of gone with. They've been looking for that next level up. The Pajau. We've been looking for that next level. Is this guy the next level? Maybe. Is he a level up on our current wingers? So, some would say yes, but again, it's that injury inconsistency in terms of minutes that's probably allowed us to get this player. If he's fit and doesn't have that record, is he probably a little bit unachievable? Maybe, because where he was at Salzburg to where he is now, he hasn't really. He's sort of regressed a bit. He spiked and he was doing really well, and he's regressed a little bit. So we've managed to pick him up again. If he can play to his potential and keep fit, he looks an absolute baller. He looks great. And what I liked as well, Adam, when he did his interview, no messing about. What's your favourite position? I'm a winger. Sean, you like him as a centre forward. I loved him in interviews. He's another player, Adam, who's got that little bit of air of cockiness, confidence in his own ability. Yeah. I like that. And the more players like that we can have, the better for me, mate, because we've had a lot of confidence players, people who are quite fragile under scrutiny. Harrison's, Aronson at time, Bamford. I like a couple of these players to be in the squad who have got a bit. Give me a ball, I'm good enough,
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It's an interesting one. I think me and Sean on here last week were a little bit unsure about it, judging by his stats and what he's done over the last few years, etc. To be honest, I was the same on DCL, but like any idiot, as soon as there's a sign for us and you hear the interview, this guy's got it. It's still a scouting bit. You look at them in your logical mind. You look at the analysis of what they've done, their stats, etc. I said, but as soon as they sign, I'm a Leeds, all the Leeds supporter stuff comes through. The child in me go, yeah, I'm really excited about seeing him play. I think profile-wise, success or not, I don't know. But profile-wise, his ceiling is very high. Like, there's no doubt about what he's done in his career and the moments he's had. But there've been moments. He's had half decent seasons in Switzerland, etc. But again, Switzerland, we tried that before. But he's ceiling and what a profile. I mean, you looked at Nonto Saturday. What in the first half? I say we got corners, but a chance we got a lot. It mainly Nonto because work down the left. I think that's a lot to do with Stroud and Stack. You play to your strengths, and them two is their distribution is phenomenal. And Goodmanson, not Bogle's not very good as well, but actually as a 3-4 Nonto, very good. You get in position, and he was one-on-one with Brian quite a lot, and I don't think he beat him once. Someone said in the chat last week, I thought, okay, centre back playing fullback, he's there to be got at, but he's so big that he's actually kept his body shape so good. You couldn't actually he'd always grab Nonto, and he wouldn't really get away from him. And even when you thought he would, his leg came out or whatever it may have been. I think Okafor would be that fullback, and I think that's a difference, and that's what we need. We need wingers, because that's the whole thing of a 4-3-3. Either overlapping fullbacks or getting the wingers one-on-one with defenders and beating them. And that's it. Get to the byline, go inside, whatever it may be. But by the way, you've got to do both as well. Nonto tried to go inside an awful lot.
Yeah.
James was obviously quite poor last week, I thought. James was actually very poor. I mean, James kept trying to do flicks around the corner without kicking the ball away. And you can't do that in the Premier League. And people go, oh, he's back in the Premier League, not been very good. He didn't do that in the Championship, by the way. He looks half ball much better. He's just out of form at the moment. He'll come good. But yeah, I think Okafor, again, because you start if we had got Pajal, you would look at him going, he is head and shoulders above everyone else, and we've got to get him on the pitch and just keep feeding him. Okafor, I don't think he's not that level, obviously. But what he is, and he fits into the squad of wingers we've got, and he's a completely different option, and he will offer that different option. And I think we'll probably see in the changes of the team this week, potentially playing Arsenal away, because the levels, look at Sunderland beat West Ham last week. As it turned out, they are a League One side. So it was pretty poor. It was actually, Sunderland probably a fairly poor performance, actually, only beating them 3-0, as it turned out, as we saw tonight. Sorry, I got off my there. But it's horses for courses approach of the levels of teams in this league, and you've got to have it. You've got to. You go into the best teams, the 3, 4, 5 best teams in the world, and then you're playing teams that might, that are playing against us that might get relegated. Look more so close to a Championship team probably than number one in the world. So Okafor fits in the squad really well, and he offers something completely different. I wouldn't start him against Arsenal. I don't think he's fit enough anyway, and I don't think it's right that his profile is right for this game as a sub last 20 minutes. Yes, granted, as a starter now.
Really, he's fit enough. He's had a pre-season.
Yeah, no, I just don't like the idea of it. You can't just chuck him in and go, right, attacking wise, fine. I'm not worried about him on the ball, but don't, work with Munson. How are we going to look after Saka? How are we going to look after Odegaard? Where's your positioning? How do you back me up? All that sort of, he'll be nowhere near any of that, of course. So he's not an option to start. He just can't be.
Play him against Wednesday in Cup and let him tear it up.
Oh, mate, do you know what? That's the most exciting team we'll put out. You'll have Nmecha, you might have Calvert-Lewin, you have Okafor.
It's going to be Wednesday 8-0, mate, with all these players. Yeah, get
Bornau. By the way, Bornau is probably the biggest beast we bought so far. He's a machine.
Yeah, he is.
Big old lad.
So Okafor, Sean, how are you feeling about Okafor?
Probably same as everybody else. There's no doubt he's got the ability. Tall player. I like that he's up there. He's just tall as he's 6 foot, something like that.
Big for the winger.
Great with both feet. I would prefer him on that in the centre forward role, looking at his stats, but he does want to play on that left hand side, and that's where he's going to play. And I know that. Is he similar to what we've already got? Yes. Is he better than what we've already got? Maybe, but we've got to see for ourselves. Price wise, the Milan fans are laughing. Actually, we've got him. They've sold him for more than that they bought him for, which is surprising for a player you thought has maybe declined slightly in the past couple of seasons, and obviously not knowing that well at AC Milan. His time at Salzburg, fantastic, and obviously that's why he got his move to AC Milan. Injuries, massive part. Going back to 2017. He's had injuries every season. The amount of games he's missed is really, really worrying. And it is for niggles. There's been a few, I wouldn't say serious injuries, but major injuries which have kept him out for like 7-8 games. But a lot of the time, it's just silly little muscular injuries. I'm hoping that's going to be sorted now, and we know we have got a good medical. Backroom staff now. It's a signing that I think where we are at now as a club, and you can look at the other signings, what we signed. I think Daniel Farke has touched on this. It's actually acquiring players who maybe they think have got that ability, and Leeds United are the club that can unleash it. Hopefully, it's what happens. We could talk about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. A fit Dominic Calvert-Lewin, would we have had a chance to sign him? No. Probably not. No chance. So this is a sort of the similar sort of thing for me with Okafor. We wouldn't have got him if he'd have been a fit, firing left winger.
Yeah, no. The problem with that, though, Sean, of course, is we did it with Solomon last year, which is fine. His injury record, Solomon's injury record was much worse than Okafor's, don't get me wrong. But you think, as a player, ability-wise, he's so far head and shoulders above a Championship player. It was worth the risk.
Yeah,
building what we're building now, as you say, if you pinpoint and go, Calvert-Lewin and Okafor are much better than we could have got, then that's fine. As injured players, that's as injury-prone players, that's fine. But injury-prone players are going to fill into the squad and not be head and shoulders above the rest. It's an interesting way of building a squad. I'm not quite sure about it. We could come unstuck, but
yeah, it's a risk. It's a massive risk. It is.
It is. But that's why. But to say that's why I guess Farke sounds like he might want another striker. He sounds like he wants a 10/winger, whatever a 10/winger is. By the way, they're a winger that play 10, or they're a 10 that play wing. They're not really. People can't really do both as well, really. Unless you're like Cole Palmer and you're world class wherever you play, sort of thing. But most players aren't, obviously. But yeah, so if we're going to buy a couple more attackers and we keep building that squad up, then the options are there. I can see Ramazani. I'm going to talk about this. Ramazani going, etc. James got big up speed. There's all sorts to happen here. I think a lot's going to happen in the last week of the window. There's loads to happen all over the place. And so
do you think a winger definitely goes out on loan or gets sold? Do you think it has to? We look at the math now.
I think it is going to be Ramazani, if anything. Yeah. It depends on the type of player we sign next. He did say, Daniel Farke, that he wanted the winger, like Adam's just said, who can play in them central areas as well. There's only so many. It's great having a great squad, but will Ramazani be happy? Yeah.
I mean,
is he going to get a run out against Sheffield Wednesday? Now that would be telling.
On Ramazani, I say it splits fan base. I think most fans want to see him play more minutes. Some fans say other fans overgas him and overhype him, and I definitely fell into that category for them people. But you can't tell me somebody that were there last season who helped us get up. Had moments when allowed to have moments where, he won us points, scored a lot of goals, GNA in every 98 minutes played, one of the highest GNA, I think, at Leeds for the minutes played. He were there, and then to see him jogging up and down, warming up, and seeing Aronson come on wing, who last season didn't play on wing, seeing Harrison, who last season didn't give a shit about Leeds United, maybe he does now. Who knows? We'll have to see. But it's one of them. It's a tough watch as a fan that likes Ramazani. I know it's side before self and all that shit. And it's not playing FC, but just looking at it from his point of view, I would be fuming if I were Ramazani. Let's be fair, he's looked like one of his best attacking options in pre-season. People can say he ain't doing this in training, he must have a bad attitude. Well, if he had a bad attitude, he won't pull his weight in training. He won't be on fucking bench for me. No, Farke's ruthless. Farke's ruthless. So for me, he's doing everything he can do to get minutes, and it's just not working out for him. So I wouldn't begrudge him actually asking for a move when you think some other players have done worse. I would be banging his door down to move from Leeds United if I were Ramazani, when you're seeing Harrison play over him. And now Okafor's come in. He's now probably, sixth choice winger at Leeds United, which is mental to be that far down when there's an argument to say he's still his best left winger. There's an argument. He's in that mix. Yeah, he's at the bottom. He's below Aronson now. We're coming on that wing. So again, it's just a little conversation. Yeah. That was the only negative really I took away from that. Was not seeing Ramazani touch grass and thinking, shit, he's probably going to leave because obviously he's my best player.
They were telling in the press conference, Matt, and a few folks touched on this. As soon as he got asked the question, he put his head down. Did Daniel Farke, and then he skipped round it and talked about the other wingers in the club, and then touched on Ramazani, that he can play left, right. And it's all down to training, what you do in training. Okay, if you can play on the right, then play him on the right. Get him on the right. I'd like to see him play on the right. It's just very, very telling. And I came away from that press conference thinking, I can see Ramazani going out on loan here, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. Like I say, it'll be. Go on.
I'd be surprised in the club perspective if we didn't know. I mean, you got Nonso, James, Okafor, and you've also got Aronson, Harrison already. So that's 5 into 2. Now, Aronson and Harrison probably aren't necessarily options to start, even though they might be in some people's teams. But so I think if Ramazani is saying stick for choice in what you're looking at as probably 2 wing spots, 4 choices is quite a lot usually, 2 for each position, then he's not. Yeah, I think the club should loan him because if he can go away and play for Rangers, get 10 million on his transfer figures, on his transfer fee, on his value, then that's what the club should be trying to do as well. There's no point him sitting on the bench and lowering his transfer value.
It's sad though now, isn't it? Because the best you can sort of hope, while ever the regime is what it is, which let's hope Farke's in charge for many years because it means we're doing well. But you're just saying there, go play football to get your value up to then move on for more money. It's quite sad, isn't it? We're not talking about.
It's like the beginning of the end if they go out on loan.
It is really, it is, and it's sad for him because I really like him, but yeah, I don't want to go too much into it because I'm a big fanboy.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was just something to sort of touch on.
Do you know what?
Oh,
He's clearly a good lad, and he's a really exciting footballer. And it's a shame we didn't get to see a lot more of him last season. And when he did play, he was our best player. The early season, not saying every time he played, early season, he was the most exciting player to watch. And that injury against Watford, and he's never got another look at. And he didn't get 5-10 minutes end of game stuff. Isn't a look in. It's not fair on players. Certain players can't do that. They can't impact games in that way. And that and there's lots of players like that. So he didn't get a look in and hasn't got a look in for a long time now. And there's no point in keeping him. Farke doesn't really want him and doesn't want to utilise him. What's the point? The guy's worth 10, 15 million. Just get him out somewhere, get him playing football, and say it's not about his value. Actually, it's good for him as well. Of course, get him out because he wants to go and play football. So there's no point in him sitting on the bench and not getting a look in.
And to be honest, who knows what's going to happen with Daniel Farke? Is like Matt just said, if he stays, then we're doing well. If we're not doing well, he's going to go. Maybe next manager that comes in fancies a Ramazani and his team. Who knows? If we get relegated, well, he's a good option again for the Championship to help us get back up. So I'd love him to not be sold, go out on loan because he's going to be a good option for us in future.
Yeah, I agree,
depending how things go.
Absolutely.
We haven't, Jammy. No, we haven't, pal. A lot of love for Ramazani in the chat tonight. Right, so moving on. We brought this little segment in last week, which we all enjoyed.
Oh, yes.
And we spoke to Steve from Mr. Whitesnake over in New Zealand again this week and got him to do another poem for us. So here is Mr. Whitesnake writes. Hope you enjoy it.
Mr. Whitesnake writes poetry from New Zealand.
The Premier League is tough, with dramas, goals and fame, but what really grinds my nuts, I can't pronounce the players' names. There is Goodmanston and Longstaff, Behe be all born now, Nmecha and Anton Stuck. I got through that somehow. But it was Elland Road on Monday night, the crowd was on its feet, with entertaining football. This week we must repeat. Oh no, here comes another lad through Elland Road's front door. Another name I can't pronounce. It's Noah Okafor. Okafor. Please, next time give me a Robert Smith.
Mr. Whitesnake writes poetry from New Zealand.
What a guy. Honestly, it's a belter, isn't it? I love it.
That's better than last week's. That's brilliant. That's great.
He's on the right trajectory here, Mr. Whitesnake. Loved it. Loved it. Got to come back with more, mate. Got to come back with more. Good old Whitesnake. I love that, mate. It was class.
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant.
Yay, Harry the rescue dog. There's his missus. Hope you're doing well, Karen. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. Oh, absolutely love that. Yeah, I played it yesterday. Sent me yesterday. Played it. I was just chuckling at myself. I love that. Everyone will love that. Smash a like, everyone. Cheers, Christopher. Yo, Snakey. Loved it. Yeah, too right. Nice little thing just to throw in there, innit, to break the show up. Love it.
Yeah,
I did. I might enjoy him. I love it. Yeah, brilliant.
Well done, Steve. Absolutely loved it, mate. Right then, Steve and panel. Moving on. Preview for Arsenal. Let's get into it. Boom.
Wow. Loving that.
Wow. Huge game tomorrow. I'm just going to start off with my mate Dovey. He said a draw. Set for morning, mate. Any predictions? We'll get into predictions, Dovey, towards the end. Get to bed. Pick him up early. But my mate Danny Dovey there keeps using the terminology free hit. Don't matter about result, mate. We're going to have a great day. And I get all that, Danny Dovey, and I love you for it, mate. And it's going to be a great day regardless. But I don't like the terminology free hit. I understand it. But I do not like it. I think we keep getting told about that the gap's massive in Premier League, and these are the games where it is massive. I get that. Everton, it's not as big as the gap isn't as big for everyone. The Premier League, everyone within that pyramid's different. Outside that top 5, top 6. But I do look at it and think the way football is these days, if you're good tactically and you work hard, you can nullify a team with more quality. It's not rocket science. It can be done if you're disciplined in your coaching and the message is clear from the coach to the players. You can nullify a side. It could look. This is a game in it, lads, where you don't care if it looks shit. Everton at home, you want to see a bit more. You want to see him go for it a little bit and try and get that goal. I asked if we absolutely shit house in 0-0 here, But I don't like the term free hit, lads. I don't know how you feel about the whole free hit stuff. But
no way. You go into every game wanting to get at least a point, especially away from home. At least a point. Do not lose. If we draw, which I'm hoping, I'm predicting a 1-1. I'll say that now, 1-1. But if we can draw against Arsenal, it'll feel like a win, won't it? It'll feel like a win. Get them points on the boards, guys. That's what we need. Definitely.
I think so.
And I don't. Daniel Farke won't go into that anyway, into any game like that, you know. And I don't think the players would. No players do they? But yeah, I don't like that free hit. No, what's point of going then? Just give them the points.
I know.
It's funny. I was standing in the field earlier by myself. As you do.
Scarecrow. You've been doing that scarecrow.
Yeah, I was shouting at the birds, the flying ones. I thought about it being called a free hit. And I think this is because I agree. I don't like the term free hit. It's a game of football against 11 other guys. Now they're really, really good, but you find out how you can beat them. How can you stay in the game? Blurry. And yeah, but it's as close to a free hit as you'll ever get in a game of football. I think, like without being, because even you said, Sean, a draw would feel like a win. Now that almost is the epitome of being a free hit. Like it's almost describing. If you looked up at in a thesaurus, what if you for free hit? You know, you probably or dictionary, you'd probably see a draw would feel like a win. It's not, like we're going there. It feels like they should have a 2-goal handicap to make it fair. You know, they've spending fortunes on players. Premier League for a long time, Champions League, one of the best teams in Europe. Incredible home record. They lost 2 home games last season, but yeah. What? By the way, if you speak to Arsenal fans, they say they're not very good against the low block. If we go and play our game, I think we'll struggle. I think we have got to change slightly for this. We have got to shit house a little bit. We have got to park the bus a little bit because, and if we can defend against corners, you're a long way against Arsenal. They score a lot of goals in set piece. They rely on that a lot because they know they're not very good at breaking down teams necessarily. They do they do it a lot like us actually. In terms of the fullbacks push really far forward, they work with the winger and they try and do interchange. They try and get the winger or the fullback in behind, round the back, and then hopefully a cutback or whatever it may be. But yeah, Arsenal sort of team you can set up against. They've not got they've got Saka is obviously one of the best players in the world, probably the best right winger in the world. Him and Salah, the two I'd say. And so they've got that. But after him, if you can double up on him, you'd go a long way to stopping Arsenal. Odegaard's a good ball player, but he needs people he's not going to bang one in 30 yards. He needs someone to play it through to. You can sit deep enough to cut that off. Gyökeres is a very good striker, obviously, but he needs space to operate. You can stay tight on him. So that, Martinez is a bit headless. He's a little bit. I mean, Joe Owen actually said it's a really good way to describe him. He's a push and run after it. That's very much what Martinelli is. He's not got a lot of process in what he does. He just tries to do the most obvious thing. Arsenal are there to be, they're not there to be beaten necessarily, but they are there to go and play and have a way of playing. In the game for a long time, definitely.
Yeah, it's the main thing for me is no matter. I mean, looking at their press conference, Havertz is out, Ben White's a doubt, Eze hasn't, paperwork's not gone through in time and all that. It's like, oh, tick, 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 but the alternative is just as strong. So no matter where we're looking for a weakness, it's hard to find one. So I think all we can do is make sure we're at it. And then you've just got to hope there's a little bit of a dip in their performance on the day. If they're at it and we're at it, they're still probably beat us, But we've got to do what we can do, and what we can control is take the same energy, take the same effort to that game. And, there's 3,000 Leeds fans. I'm one of them travelling down there hoping for a miracle. But, is it totally against all odds that we do get something there? I don't think so. I think Ampadu being out's a massive, massive shame. Like, that is huge. Like, that almost, I think I've said 1-1. That almost makes me lean to potentially losing Ampadu. I think he's a one player I would have said I wouldn't want to lose in this game because he's a heartbeat of the side, and I think he showed levels against Everton that maybe surprised a few people that he is a Premier League player. Sean Healy being one of them. He even said that in our group chat. And I think taking him out of there, I think he would have given Odegaard a very tough game. Maybe even ironed him out if he'd have been on it. And that's a very hard iron out. So we'll talk about soon of who we think will play there now. But that's a bit of a worry. And I also think that means Strauch stays in instead of Biol, because I think, being vice captain, I expect that, he should stay in on merit for me because he were brilliant. But I think he stays in as well for that, even though Biol is an argument, him coming in, being more physical, and, good in air. But I think it's a massive blow losing Ampadu. But I do think if we're at it, I think Dan James on the right is a great outlet for us when we want to go long. You know, he has to be on it as well. He's had a poor pre-season. He looked bad against Everton, but we need Dan James in this game because he's our get out of jail card. And when we're up against it, play long, try and get him behind because we'll have opportunities to get behind with that pace. But I think as general play, it's going to be very hard to break Arsenal down because their defence, Sean, is unbelievable. And I mean, when it comes to head-to-heads and stuff, have you got a few stats?
I've got a few little bits.
Right,
I've got a question for the chat as well.
Do you want to do that first, though? Are you ready to do your stats first, though? Because I just want to press this little button. My fingers.
Yeah, do it.
You ready? There we go. Stat man. Just take it away, man.
We have not won against Arsenal since 2003. It was a 3-2 victory. To the chat, who scored the goals in that game for both Leeds and Arsenal, if you can remember? I'll leave that one with you. Okay, Farke and Arteta, they've only come up against each other twice. Arteta winning both games. Again, we've not beaten Arsenal in the last 11 games, losing 9, drawing 2. The draws came in 2020 and 2011, so we've not had the best of times. Arsenal injuries are missing Norgard, Gabriel Jesus, and Kai Havertz is the big miss. So Gyökeres, it's all going to be on him come Saturday. And touching on the Man United game, they didn't have a lot of the ball against Man United, didn't Arsenal. I think they're like 30% possession, and they still managed to get a win. And that came from the set piece, which you've just mentioned. So set pieces for them, we're going to have to try and nullify it a little bit. But yeah, not massive stats, but I'm just interested to see what the chat's going to say on that little... and no cheating.
I don't think we need to. There's a player's name we can't even say.
No, can I guess?
Go on.
Was it? I don't know if Hart, that was his free kick one, and Viduka 2. Was it Viduka scored 2?
No, he got 1, I think, and then there was.
You're right with Hart and Viduka, but there's one more player.
The player we can't. Yeah.
Did he smash it across the goal?
Yeah.
Was it that one?
Harry Kewell, Ian Hart, and Matt Viduka. Who scored for? Who scored for Arsenal? Do you know?
Perez.
No.
Lundberg, Parra.
It'll be the obvious. It's the obvious.
Henry
and Bergkamp. Yeah.
What a player.
I know.
Loads in chat here.
What a player, Viduka. Or Vidoka. What a player.
Yeah, so we've got something to prove on Saturday as well. It's not, there's a milestone there. There's a win we need to get rid of this hoodoo of not winning since 2003. So
there is, mate. William Morrison, thanks for your super chat, mate. For me, largest days, Harrison out. The problem is Harrison is training. Harrison in training must be lights out. In matches, not so much. Yeah. Thanks for that, mate. Really appreciate the super chat. Really do. Oh my God, he's here again. Christopher Spofford Chapel gifted 20 Imagine Not Being Leeds memberships. They must have heard about us Christmas too. Thanks so much, Christopher. You're a star, mate. Again. Absolute legend. Thank you so much, mate. I hope you're enjoying the chat as well, Christopher. It's been nice having you in there. Top guy. Thanks again, honestly, from bottom of my heart. Thank you. Absolute legend. I never know what to do in things like that, but it just totally throws me off. No, Odegaard is out too, ain't he? No, mate. I don't think I've seen that.
It's Norgard.
Norgard.
Yeah, so
thank you, Christopher.
Odegaard and White, they didn't train, did the middle of week, but I think they're going to be all right for this game. Unless something comes out, but nothing's come out. That's concrete that they're both out.
But no, I mean, Norgard is a new signing for him, without Norgard. Like I say, any of those players can come out, and there might be a little bit of a drop off, but in terms of the quality, it's still right up there, isn't it? I think they've got the best keeper in the league for me. I think the keeper's class. I think the centre half pairing's class.
That midfield 3.
They're unbelievable, mate. That's what I mean. Losing Ampadu for us, it'd have been really good to see him up against like Declan Rice's and people like to sort of see where they measured up. But I do look at their left hand side and think that's their weakest point if they've even got one. I know their left back scored. I can't pronounce his name. He scored at weekend, didn't he? Yeah, he scored. But then you've got Martinelli. I look at that left hand side and think that's why I think Dan James needs a good game, because that's probably our best. If you think Dan James our outlet attacking their left back, is Martinelli going to give him much help? He needs to with Dan James if he's on it, because at pace and stuff. But I look on the other side and think, Saka, and yeah, he does get back. He's got everything as Saka, and I think that their left side for us, lad, has to be where we target. But yeah, do you want to get into what you think the sides will be, Adam?
It's not what I think it is. It's let's do it, because this like.
Well, what is it? What is it? Is this what you want it to be, Adam?
This is what I do. I was in the middle of my field earlier by myself, and and I started thinking, what would I do on Football Manager? How can I overthink this to such a degree that everyone will think I'm mental, and then I can spend time trying to explain why I've done it, and maybe get some people on side of it. So that's what I've done.
I'm interested to see it, because I hope it matches up to mine.
Mad case.
And it doesn't. But
let me take that comment off of Robbo. There, AG's predicted lineup.
Yeah, no. So I don't know. I should have took the word predicted off. Really,
it's Wild is Gruev in the
yeah. No, Wild's fine. Okay, I think there's so the back five I think is okay, right? No one's gonna go mad about that. The front three's okay. I know we can talk about people can talk about Harrison. Now, I've moved. I hate the idea in a lot of ways of moving Stack out from one of the wide centre midfield positions. I think he's going to be crucial for us getting him up pitch. But in that DM role, we need physicality. We have to have physicality, and Stack's really actually we're quite light in there now in a way. And Stack's the only physicality we have left at DM, because I think Gruev is a bit of a lightweight. Gruev's really good at filling in spaces, being where he needs to be, backing play up, etc. Being that guy that's going through people and cleaning things out. I don't think he's that good. Longstaff has to play for me, legs around the pitch, especially as soon as you take Stack out into that DM role rather than 1 and 2 wides up and down. You've got to play Longstaff. So, but I want to go into. So there's 2 more slides. Can do the Arsenal team, and then there's a team with it mixed, and I want to explain how I got to this. Right. So this is the Arsenal team. So people say about a possible couple of players out. Back 4. Zubimendi, Odegaard, Rice, brilliant. I think a lot of time they turn more into sort of it's almost a 4-1-4-1 now. Zubimendi sits deepest. Obviously, fullbacks kick on. Odegaard and Rice. Odegaard, even though he's left-footed, loves to operate in the right channel. Rice loves to operate in the left channel. And then you got Saka keeps the width, Martinelli keeps the width, and Gyökeres tries to get in behind. Won't get he's different to Havertz in a lot of ways, because he's more of a Haaland. He won't get involved in the build-up play, but he wants to get in behind. He wants to finish. He's there to finish the chances. Not necessarily he won't get a lot of assists this season, but he'll get a lot of goals. Right. Yeah. Next one. Now this is where hopefully I convince you all I'm not mental, and there's at least, even if you don't agree, there's thought behind this.
Yeah. Well,
is there another slide?
Yeah. Maybe we've got to see what they're saying in this one.
Okay. Right. So this is how I discussed. Now, if you can work this out, this is like the thoughts of a madman here.
This is Adam's mind and brain here. Just on the one slide.
I put this there about 6 this evening.
So many words on there for me. It's blagging.
This is how. Obviously, the red are Arsenal, the yellow are Leeds. If you haven't got that, then you aren't going to follow the rest of it. But this is how Arsenal set up, and I think we'll sit a lot in a mid block. What I like the idea of, and I was thinking, okay, we need an outlet. Where's the outlet? Now, the Nmecha, I think, will be pulled onto Zubimendi quite a lot as well. So where's the outlet? Now, the outlet, I think, like we discussed, and like you said earlier, Sean, is James. How can we leave James for? I don't want. The thing is, Calafiore, he plays like Firpo. He can be up front 1 minute, left wing 1 minute, like over the right side. He goes all over the place, and he's mayhem. And it's brilliant for them because he disrupts the opposition. Now that's where the space is. That space is on the right wing, and that space. So our quickest player, James. How can we build it so we keep James forward and don't? So almost you play a 2 up front, and James stays right wing, and he's always out there. Every time Perry gets the ball, anytime centre back gets the ball, anytime there's a switch on, you always look at James. Calafiore won't be there. He will never be there. He will always drift around. He'll always get forward. If it's Calafiore, it wouldn't surprise me if it was Timber left back tomorrow, but we're assuming it's Calafiore in this instance. Longstaff then has to play because he's got to cover the space. He's got to do James's defensive work. Now you look at that. There's 3 red names over left hand side: Stack, Longstaff, over right, and Bogle. You've got 3 on 3. It doesn't work that obviously. Your defense moves over with the ball, so that I'm not particularly worried about. The reason Gruev's in the team is very much the position I put him there in. Good if Nonto's always back on Saka again, we've got no outlet. Odegaard plays right channel and Saka. Goodmanson's going to struggle with Saka. Gruev is brilliant. He'll be fantastic at covering Goodmanson. He's positionally and working for a team as a system player. Gruev is fantastic. That's why I like Gruev in the team. I like Stack, and then I say Stack for me has to play at DM role because of the physicality. So that's where I've come from this team. And oddly, and I hate it in a lot of ways. Well, Tanaka just doesn't get in as a result. And that's where I've got to. Thank you.
Can I just say, I've seen a few people in chat say that White is out and so is Gyökeres. That is false. White is a late fitness test. Gyökeres is definitely playing. He's had a smashing week in training, and he's looking fit and healthy. So that is false information. There was a rumor come out, but yeah, I've literally listened to Arteta.
By the way,
he's playing.
Who said Gyökeres were out? Don't think. Did anyone say Gyökeres?
Yeah, someone in chat. I can't remember.
No,
yeah,
he's not.
No, he's not out. No, he's definitely playing. He's definitely fit and raring to go. So that will be an interesting one for our defensive lads. But I kind of think it's a good time to play someone like Gyökeres, because I think if he gets in his stride, it could be a fantastic play. The amount of goals he scored in Portugal, but it is only Portugal. This could be a good time to play someone like him. Before he gets in his, in fact, into his stride. So. I'm quite happy. Tanaka to start for me. I agree. Kilgallen. Yeah, well, Kilgallen who said that. I agree that Tanaka will play. I think he's one of the best players on pitch. I don't see that not happening. But yeah, Ming as well. Rice will tell us how good our midfield is. I sort of agree with that. It's a good measuring stick to sort of look at it and go, how far off are we? But these are the kind of players that you don't expect to be able to mix it with. But on any given day, if you get your tactics right, you can do well. This for me, as much as it's a free hit, this really, I think, will show you what Farke's got in the locker. Because this is a game that, people are just throwing away in bin. But this is a game where, I think we all said, Adam, if we play it the same way, if we play the Leeds way, the Farke way, we probably do get, slapped up a little bit if we're too naive. But this is where it comes from Farke now. The message has to be adapt, change it a little bit. The 4-3-3 probably will work well in this, depending on his personnel who he selects as well. For me, Farke can put things in place to make us harder to beat than what we naturally would be in a normal game. The normal way we set up, I think would be suicide in this game. So hopefully he's learned his lesson from his Norwich days. And this is if this is his Norwich team, he plays out from the back and get slapped up 6-0, lads. And I know we've got better players in Norwich, but if we're not careful, it can still happen at any tide on the day, can't it? So this is a game where, I'm expecting, it to be tough, and we'll see how it goes. But I really want to see Farke make some decisions. And if that means Harrison starts at left, which I've seen some people say, if Harrison starts at left, I'll be a little bit annoyed. But if it works, it's another big tick in Farke's book, because he's going to give you so much going back in, Adam.
But by the way, this is why I've done this team. This is why Gruev's in my side. So Harrison doesn't have to start, and you still have the outlet of a Nonto and a James on the wing.
Yeah, I get that.
And I think that's absolutely crucial. But to have that, you've got to have a Longstaff and Gruev behind them to do a lot of the defensive donkey work. You've got to. The whole thing of playing out from the back, that's exactly what Arsenal want us to do. They'd love it if we just passed around the back and they can high press us, win the ball. We've got to have outlets, and we've got to have a different way of playing. If the Nmecha can stand up against them, bully them a little bit, and get it up front, they won't like that. If James can stay wide, high and wide right, they won't like that. I say it gives us options. And I think if Harrison plays, he takes away all outlet for me. There's no outlet in Harrison for me. Now, I know people would disagree with that. That's absolutely fine, of course. But for me, you're picking Harrison for his defensive work. I don't want to pick I don't want to substitute an outlet, a winger, for a defensive reason.
Adam, that does my head in these days, right? You talk about winger, don't you, lads, right? And I know you're on that, and I'll let you have your bit in a minute, Sean. But when you look at it, right? Why does everyone keep going about? Yeah, but so and so don't track back and ain't that good defensively. Yeah, but he's a fucking winger. Do we speak about Messi like this? Is he supposed to track back and make tackles? Like at some point, you're attacking players after attack. Like, are we going to start saying Nmecha in getting back, making slide tackles on the edge of his area? Like, at some point, an attacker is an attacker. Why all of a sudden have they got to be defenders as well? Do you know what I mean? I understand in certain games, but like, it does irk me a little bit that, say, Ramazani gets a bad name because he ain't busting a gut to get back, and defend it around the edge of his area, which I think he does sometimes, and it just gets overlooked because people have narratives. But genuinely, I don't understand why that's the first thing someone says. Oh, well, he don't track back. Yeah, but he's a winger. Like, do you get what I mean? No, it's modern game and stuff, Sean, but the idea that Harrison could start away at Arsenal, it's still, I am bothered. I am booed him once and he did all right when he came on, but it blows my mind a little bit. I won't lie, that's actually a possibility. We could look at that lineup and Harrison could be at left wing.
Yeah, and if you want to go see my preview after this, jump on and onto Wilco White's and see my preview and my lineup. Okay, I can see what you're saying about Willie Gnonto. Interesting fact, Willie Gnonto won most tackles against Everton.
Really?
Out of any player. I think it was 3 tackles. So I'm not saying he can't tackle Gnonto. Starting the defence for me, I would play Bijol. I'd take Strike out and play Bijol. And I only changed my mind this morning just because of the set-piece threat from Arsenal. I think Bijol would be a lot better. Also, if we do get any corners as well, we're there. If we do get any corners as well, I think Bijol's more of a threat, in an attacking sense as well. Now, the midfield, I want to say we still stick with the 3, but we go with the 2 CDMs, like Adams just said, in Stack and Gruev. But I would have Tanaka playing in that side. I'd put Tanaka in front of them. And the reason being is, Daniel Farke did say, we still got to play. We've still got an identity. We still want to play. When we do get the ball, we want to try and keep it. Tanaka's key for that for me in keeping the ball, and keeping the ball moving. So there's no problem for me. Tanaka just sitting, up just in front of Gruev and Stack. You're right in what I'm saying about Gruev coming across to the left and helping out Goodmanson and Stack doing the same on the right. You've got to be wary though of them 3 players in that midfield. For Arsenal, really quality players. This is why I'd bring Aronson in. He is, yes, okay. I'm not saying he's the best defensively, but I think he'd be a bit more of a protection for Goodmanson. And I also like the fact with Nmecha playing, you're not going to agree, but with Nmecha playing.
No, sorry. You said bring Aronson in, not Harrison.
Oh, Harrison, sorry. Yeah. Harrison in on that left-hand side. I liked the balls he were putting in, Jack Harrison, against Everton. And I think if you have a Nmecha there, who's a key focal point up front, there's a possibility we get some goals from that. And also with Nmecha up there, I think he does hold the ball up a little bit better. He's more of a presence than Pirro. I'm not saying Pirro's a bad player. Obviously I do highly rate him. I just think for this game, it would suit us with a Nmecha there. But that's why I would go with Jack Harrison and a Dan James on the other side for that outlet. But I think we still need Tanaka in there, just for when we do get the ball for the possession side of it, which Longstaff's not the best at, but definitely want to see Stack dropping a little bit deeper. We need that physicality in that midfield now. Ampadu's not there because Gruev, as much as I know Daniel Farke loves him and he can do it, he isn't as good as Ampadu, and we all know that.
I agree. Just out of curiosity, who would you have as captain?
Yeah, well, I got asked this question, and I'd try Bijol, and I know it might not do it. I'd give it Bijol. Why not? He's done it at Udinese, and again, going back to what press conference said, Ampadu's missing. What Farke said in the press conference. Yeah, he's the captain and he's the voice, but we've got a lot of voices in the team. Just because we haven't got, say, Ampadu, what is everybody just going to stay quiet? Why not make a Bijol captain? Why not? Somebody's done it with Granit Xhaka and he's a new player. There's not an issue there for me.
You're absolutely right, Sean. If if Farke thinks Bijol should play ahead of Strauch, he's not going to do it because Strauch is vice captain. Go, oh, he can't. What he'll do is he'll pick the team, and then the squad naturally just picks a captain. Like he'll know who the next captain line. Whereas we could guess and go, oh, it might be Bijol, may well be Bijol. But he'll have a captain in the side.
Yeah.
It's not like if Strauch doesn't play, no one's going to captain, is it? So it's not an issue.
No. Give it to Nmecha, Stack, whatever. I don't care. But
yeah.
It's harsh. This is only what I'm going to do. We don't know what Farke's going to do, but it's harsh because I did, like I say, I were all for Pascal Struijk starting against Arsenal. I'm thinking, yeah, he deserves it. He played really well against Everton. He deserves it, but I just think tactically, Bijol would be better. And if I'm proven wrong, I'm proven wrong. But that's why.
That's it, isn't it? That's why we're just here to chat, and
we're just here to discuss our thoughts, mate.
Like for me, it's Strack. For me, it's Strack ahead of Bijol, and it's fine. I think we all agree that we like the idea of Stack playing that middle role. I think we need that physicality in there. I think, and to say where we debate, it's Longstaff. For me, it's Longstaff over Nmecha because Rice operates in the left inside position, and you need to match his running power. You've got to, and that's where I think that's where Longstaff comes into me. And Gruev, I think, would be brilliant. Odegaard, obviously, operates inside right. He's not about running power. He's about slotting balls around. So if you can get someone like Gruev buzzing around him and stop him playing a bit, and also backing up Goodmanson with Saka, that's where Gruev comes in. And for me, of course, it's mental to drop Tanaka. Tanaka was brilliant last game. It makes no sense in so many ways. But for me, in my team, I just can't get him in.
Yeah, I think we've just got to stay compact, and obviously, you're saying Gruev's going to, we've all said it. Gruev's going to push out into that left hand side. I don't like the sound of that he's going to have to, but it will do, and that's another reason, like I said, why I brought Jack Harrison back in, just to give us a bit more balance as well to the side. I'm not saying, Willie Nonto did anything wrong, but we've got to look at the opposition we're playing against, and then it's options we've got off the bench as well. We've got options off the bench then. But that's what I do. It's not what's going to happen.
No, it's not. It's not. Stack will play in DM. Tanaka and Longstaff will play in front of him. And Strauch will stay in there. And I also think it's important Strauch stays in there for the familiarity as well. I think the fact that familiarity, I think that, they played with each other now for 2 years, bar injuries, obviously when Ampadu steps in. They look really good against Everton. I just think you need some cohesion. Yeah, you've got new players coming in. Bijol has played in some friendlies, but yeah, I just think for me, I'd just stick with that. You want your defense is probably the only part of the pitch you don't really want to change very often. And Bijol would have started against Everton and would have probably played again tomorrow. But I think for Pascal, it was a blessing in disguise. He didn't. He's then stepped up, and it's great competition. I think it's one of them moments potentially where if we do lose tomorrow, we concede a couple of goals. You play Bijol against Wednesday, we keep a clean sheet, then Bijol starts against Newcastle. That's how I can see it going, lads. I think that's the way it probably will play out.
Is that what you'd do? So that's what you'd do? You'd play Struijk instead if you were picking the team tomorrow against?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because I know what Struijk can do when he plays well.
Really?
Defensively wise, I think he's all right in there, but it's also I
set pieces, corners.
Yeah, but don't let Stack take him and get him in box. Thing is, we're speculating out because we've seen Bijol on clips. We've looked at his stats. We don't know for definite that he'll play tomorrow and play well and win these headers and all that. He's coming into a big game. Cole not playing last week. Yeah, he's played some minutes in pre-season, but for me, Pascal's tried and tested, and we know what he can give us when he plays well. And I think he's got leadership qualities. I think he's really good. We're talking about aerially, they're a physical team, but at some point as well, we need to put the ball down and play. And Pascal's a great outlet for that. So I think he gets the nod, and I reckon probably 90% of people would probably agree with that. Whereas, like you say, if he plays against Everton, he plays against Arsenal, but. For me, it's a no on the Bijol. But yeah, I think Nmecha starts up front as well. A lot of people in chat, lads, saying why we're dropping Pido. Again, I kind of just think it. I mean, against Everton, we didn't really touch on Pido. I thought he played really well against Everton, by the way. I thought Pido played really well. I think he was dropping deep and linking up. He wasn't in the box very much, but he played very, very well. He had to come looking for the ball. I mean, that's probably going to naturally happen when you haven't got a 10 in behind you. You got 3 who'll play a little bit deeper, although Stack were getting forward and so were Tanaka at times. But I do feel like he comes looking for the ball a bit, but his touch was good. His passing was crisp. He was definitely on it with Pido. I think against potentially, Gabriel and Saliba, I would like to see those beasts have a beast playing alongside them. And I think Nmecha will give them. I mean, if you're one of them two, you'd rather be playing against Pirro, wouldn't you? You'd rather see team sheet come out and have Pirro than Nmecha. So I just think Nmecha starts, Pirro comes on and can maybe get something late on. But again, I'm not asked. I think even with midfielders, lads, I think we've got an abundance of talent, all at a similar level. And whoever drops out and comes in, it's first time I've been able to say that in a long time, lads. We've got decent depth-ish in certain areas we're lacking, but
yeah.
go on,
go on, Adam. Go on.
Sorry, Sean. Do you know what though? Ampadu's injury makes it look a little bit light all of a sudden. I know someone's injured, but we've literally got 5 into 3, and we've all said as well, rightly or wrongly, we're moving Stack into the middle to cover Ampadu's physicality. So Ampadu doesn't have a like-for-like replacement. If we, none of us want to lose Stack from one of the outside centre midfield positions, for me, because he's so good up and down the pitch. But we have to lose him to keep that physicality, because Gruev isn't physical enough to play, to be clearing all the second balls up. So, and I like Nmecha in DM, but I like Nmecha against Newcastle. I wouldn't mind Nmecha at DM when he's going to get a foot on the ball a lot more. But at the moment, we don't have a direct replacement for Ampadu, which I think is a little bit of a problem. And I think actually, they won't do it, but I wouldn't mind a young DM backup for Ampadu in the market, because I don't think Gruev's it just because of his physical traits, personally.
No, and I think Arsenal are going to press us. They're going to push against us. It's 4-3-3. They're going to push up. They're not going to sit. They're at home. They're going to push them and try and close us down high up the pitch. And we need players in there who can get out of trouble quite easily. And Tanaka's, for me, is one of those players. And that's why, for me, Nmecha starts and then Dan James starts, because we've got a chance to catch him on that counter-attack. And we need that more directness, where Pirro probably isn't. He's more of a more a possession-based type of player, where for me, Nmecha will bring that directness. So,
yeah, agreed.
Addison captain.
Never, mate.
Well, I doubt it.
Never. You never know. It would be crazy to drop AO, Pirro, and Nonto. Right, so score predictions. I'm going to go 1-1, goal scorer. I'm going to go Nmecha again, lads.
I'm going 1-1 as well. And I'm going to go Stack. Header.
3-1 Arsenal.
Oh,
I just
and you sign Arsenal end as well.
I hate that. I hate it. Just
you got your half and half scarf ready.
The arms crossed. I don't care. I'm not doing it. I just think they're so good. And I think, by the way, I don't think 3-1. I don't think we'll play badly for that 3-1. I think we'll, represent ourselves quite well. But I just think they're so good, and we'll do well to resist it. I think, and I think they'll end up coming through. Their quality will shine through.
Maybe. Well, I hope you're wrong with that.
I hope I'm wrong.
I know you do. Mate. I know you do. Craig Strout was incredible on Monday. He will definitely play. I think so too, mate. Love your intro, mate. Thank you very much. ALB LUFC, thank you very much. Mr. Whitesnake, rotation. Teams will not know what is coming. We do. We're 3-1 according to Adam. Right, so moving on. Last thing I'll touch on is just the transfer rumours, what we expect to happen maybe before the Newcastle game. Links at the minute, Justin James, Demirovic, Uche, Hill. Where do you want to start? Sean, Adam, who wants to jump in first? What are you thinking?
Go on, Adam.
Oh, me, sorry. Uche, I think we're good. Hill's an interesting one. Centre back mainly, but can play right back. In the press conference, I think Farke was talking about sometimes you might play a more defensive fullback. And I think maybe, again, horses for courses, he might go, actually, sometimes the option of a fullback staying back a little bit more and forming a bit of a back three and squeezing in might be an option. And I think that's where Hill might come in and give us a little bit of a different option. I don't really know where the 10 thing comes in unless you're buying a very good out and out 10. I don't know why we think we'll need it late in games. I think Uche, I think he can play up front. I think he can operate for the right. I know he's never really done it, but in a narrow right. And also he's played 8 before, but he's quite Rutter-esque in terms of the way he can carry the ball forward. And he's played again, he's a very different player.
He's played as many games at DM as he has attacking mid and striker.
Yeah.
Like pretty
Yeah.
much like the same amount of games through the
Yeah.
whole spine of the team.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is why, by the way, you can't look at his stats because every stat's like a 90 on a percentile for like per 90 minutes, but it rates him as an attacking midfielder. But obviously, he's playing DM and striker. All those stats go out the window.
His GNA is nowhere near. Yeah, of course. It's people looking at scoring many goals. Yeah,
his output's very good. Young player, 6'3", absolute machine. And I think he'd be a really good final piece of a jigsaw because I think he is malleable. I think you can mold him into something of what you need in your squad, and he can. And he's a really good ball carrier. And I think in late in games he can offer you something different. He could offer you something different in the free midfield. He could offer you something different behind the striker. But as a starter, I don't know quite where it fit. But obviously, he's a really talented guy. But I'd love him. I'd love, Farke said 2 more attackers, which is really interesting to me.
It's interesting. I think that means 10.
2 more offensive.
I think it means 10 in the strikers. I don't see it being another.
Yeah, I think it means a 10. Well, he said 10 winger. I don't.
Yeah, he said offensive players, didn't he? We wanted, so that could be.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in here? Can anyone who isn't subscribed to Mr. Wilco White's, please go check Sean's channel out, please. He does this show every Friday. I get all the glory because it's on my channel, and he's just as involved in the chat and everything that's on here, just as much as Adam as well. So please go check out Wilco White. A lot better than me at this. In depth bits and bobs. So go check his match preview out after this. Please do that. I just want to get into the star chat. Do you want to add with signings actually, mate, before I move on?
Uche, I agree with what Adam said. We were linked a while ago. He's only young, 22, and he's learning this new role, like you just said, DM. Now he's more of a attacking midfield striker, but he's only learning his stats. The goals and assists aren't fantastic, but it's a player I'd really like, and he's cheap. Apparently, it's about 15 million euros release clause now, like that, available, where it were around about 20 odd before. So the Getafe do need to sell for FFP and all that.
Yeah, now they do that. Hill.
I don't know nothing about Hill. I've not looked at him. If you want to go on about him.
Yeah, well, predominantly a centre half who can play right back, so a little bit like born out for me. I don't really see. I think he's a good player. It's a bit of a wild one. I think we really need a fullback rather than a centre half who can play there. Like I say, Bornau can do that when you look at Bornau stats. The most exciting one for me there is Demirovic. He's the most exciting player we are currently linked with, which sounds like a possibility, but again, it's a massive fee. And what I would say is when it comes to the striker, at what point do you decide you're stockpiling too many? And 3 strikers when you only play 1, I think is enough in quantity. But because there's a big question mark on 2 at fitnesses, it leaves that door ajar a little bit, as in, do I need that 4th? But just let's say it pans out and everyone's fit. How do you keep 4 strikers happy when you can't sub 3 on?
This is why Uche would be perfect, wouldn't it? Because he's a 10-stroke striker, so...
But people say, Sean, yeah, but Pino and Nmecha can play in 10. I'm like, yeah, but what happens if we don't play a 4-2-3-1 even in the second half? Maybe we don't switch. Maybe we don't need to switch to a 4-2-3-1. So it's all right saying they can play there. Yeah, but chances are we're not going to play there for the majority of the time. So if you say you bring in Demirovic and all of a sudden Calvert-Lewin, everyone's fit, what do you do? And I know it's great options for us as fans. We aren't really bothered, but I don't get how you keep a harmonious group. We're talking about left wing now. We're sort of thinking, Ramazani won't be happy. We don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he's happy just playing cards in the background. But surely, as 4-1 does not go. And if your main striker's banging him in, which is what we wanted the benefit to come and do at 35 million quid, how do you keep the other ones happy? So that's something I'm looking at thinking, I don't think we need a striker. I would gamble personally. For me now, I'm happy with the squad other than fullback cover, and I wouldn't mind getting a 10 in, but that 10 could be a loan for me. That 10 could be a Hamer, someone who could come in and maybe not be expected to play every game, although Hamer probably would. But I'd be happy with fullback cover, preferably 2, and maybe a 10, and that could be a loan. I think we're sound at wing. I'm happy with strikers, lads. I'll say that now, and I know I'll get shot down for that. But that's me.
I just think, like you said about Demirovic. Sorry, yeah, you can saying that right. if he's willing to come in and he knows he's got to work his ass off to get into this starting 11, that's great. You know, I'd have him. I'd have 4 or 5 if that's the case. That's down to Daniel Farke then to try and find ways in getting him into the team. I'm not going to say no to any player just because we've got a Pirro or a Nmecha. Daniel Farke has said he's got his worries about Nmecha's fitness and Calvert-Lewin's fitness. And we've said we wouldn't have got these players if they'd have been fully fit. Maybe Nmecha, yeah. So I think he's just wanting somebody else just to cover his own back, really. You know, he's probably said, I want these players, but I also want somebody who's got a better injury history record. Just to cover his own back. I'm not saying to no player, you know, get me 3 more attacking midfielders if you want, that's fine. It's not down to me. It's down to Daniel Farke to work out how he's going to get the best out of these players. It's great options to have, but you know, I love Pirro, but if another striker comes in who's better than him, fine. I'm sorry, I've got no sentiment towards any player like that. I don't know if you boys have, but that's how I feel. As long as we're doing the bits on the field, I don't care who scores the goals.
No, it's just a mad thing. Like I say, if Domenovic came in and he's banging goals in, maybe on 70 minutes they bring on Calvert-Lewin if he's fit and he's playing really well. Then where does Pirro and Nmecha fit in? I don't think we need a 4th, but I think we probably get a 4th. But I don't think we need to go spend 35 million quid on that player. But other people say we do. But I think between the 3 we've got in, I think there's enough, me lads, in my opinion.
I can't see a world where you give DCL number 9 and then buy a first choice striker. I can't see.
Yeah.
And then have Pirro as 4 or Nmecha as 4th choice into one spot. And this whole 10 thing, we won't use a 10 very much, if at all. And it'll be late on in games. And if late on in games, if Pirro's dropping back for another striker, it's not necessarily he's going to be a second striker. So then, you know, like we're not really playing a 10 still. So it's the 10. There's nothing to do with a 10 really. You go, oh, we're going to have 2 strikers on the pitch at any good time.
Yeah, it'd be like a false 9, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you've got 4 strikers, how often are you going to have 2 strikers on the pitch? That's the question, and the answer is very, very, very rarely. And you shouldn't really have 4. If we buy a better striker, I'm not against that, of course, great. But one has to go then, in my opinion. I can't see a world where we're going to be paying 4 strikers, and again, someone losing their value sitting on the bench, or 2 of them losing their value sitting on the bench. There'll be 2 of them that don't really get a look in, not one.
Yeah,
I still want a prolific striker, someone who's proven at a higher level, and I think, you know, like Domenovic, he's done really well in the Bundesliga for Stuttgart. His numbers are up there. Is Pirro? I still think he'd probably get 10 goals. Nmecha, what do you think? Do you think he could get 10 goals? I don't know. Again, Calvert-Lewin, yeah, okay, he can score goals in Premier League, but then you've got the injury issue. So 4 strikers are a good option for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
That's
fair.
On transfers, by the way, we've got so much. So if we want 3 in the last week of the window, we need Bamford, Meslier, Greenwood, a couple other, Schmidt. So you need 4 or 5 out as well. So we've got to have 8 or 9 transfers to happen in 1 week next week. There's a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be busy.
Yeah.
Do we think Bamford's going to go?
Yeah, of course.
He's got to go, hasn't he?
I think he'll go, and I think we'll end up picking up half his wage still. I can't see
it's going to be alone, isn't
it? Maybe more.
Right then, boys. So that's enough of the transfer chat. So let's finish off with a few of the star chat. Right, so let me fly through these then. Danny Green earlier said, but we are making too many signings that it might become tricky, if not difficult, to integrate. Yeah, is that something that bothers you? Is that 10 players in now? The integration, I feel like the ones have come in so far look to have done pretty well. So it's a bit of a universal sort of thing. I think of that in it. A lot of bodies. Is it going to? I think they've integrated really well so far. I don't think that's too bad.
But as a history, I think that used to be a thing, and then more and more transfers happened through the years. Forest bought in 15 in one window, just kept buying, stockpiling goalkeepers or strikers. It doesn't work like that anymore. Players understand their worth, understand what it means, understand what it plays to play football and be part of a squad. So no, I'm not worried about that at all.
Yeah, no, me neither. This one, Amps, injured every season. I mean, that injury the other day, I mean,
Yeah,
if it's a muscle injury and stuff like that, like we're worried about Calvert-Lewin and maybe Okafor and stuff, you can read something. Do you think it's just one of those things like when he puts his body in harm's way because of the kind of player he is? So he's always going to end up with these collisions.
Yep.
you live by the sword, you die by the sword. You're in the action area. People can catch you late. If you're catching them late, they're going to catch you late. Absolutely.
You're not too worried about that.
He flies into tackles, Zampado, and you give it, you're going to get it. And with a trailing leg that caught him as well, wasn't it? So it was just an unlucky one that. But yeah, like you say.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Bryn Jones, visiting my barber tomorrow morning. He's Arsenal fanatic. His shop covered in Arsenal memorabilia. I will arrive fully kitted. Gunners won. Leeds 3.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, I love that. He's flipped it. Yeah, Andrew Michael. Yeah, but Stat can't corners or free kicks. Need him getting in the box. Yeah, so I think we're all sort of hoping Okafor is a set piece taker, as this will elevate our attack. I would suggest having another 6'6" body in there.
Yeah.
Would you argue his set pieces against Everton were good enough? He were a bit of a mixed bag for me. He had a couple of really good ones, a couple of poor ones. Go on, Adam.
I think it makes no difference if you haven't got anyone to attack him. I think he could be putting the best balls in the world. And Strout's quite good at attacking corners, but Rodon isn't. And then we didn't have any players of any height. Didn't have DCL. We didn't have Bijol, Bornau, in the Nmechas. Stack's obviously taking them. So all these big players we bought, we were still playing in same corners. Didn't matter how good they were, to the same attacking players as we had last season that never win a header. So it didn't matter. So we got to change it. Stack can't be taking corners. It's not that hard to take a corner. Like you should just practice them.
Yeah,
because I say as well. By the way, there's still no seems to be no design to what we do. Just all go. Oh, let's all flood the 6-yard box, swing the 6-yard box. It seems to be the same thing every time. Players start 12 yards out, make their runs. There doesn't seem to be any design or any coaching to what we do for corners, which is still, and I don't know why. Obviously, Farke would call me an absolute moron if he met me and go, of course I train them. But there's nothing visible that I can see that's working or any different to what we saw him before that didn't work.
Yeah, no.
I like Goodmanson taking corners, so I think he should take the corners because his corners were decent.
Yeah.
Ideal world, I want Rodon, Bijol, Stack, and a Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the box.
Yeah.
When we're taking it, when we've got corners coming in, that's ideal. What we want, but hopefully, like I say, maybe Okafor can take them or whoever we sign is going to be decent on set pieces because I do not like Stack taking them corners. Yeah, and they weren't bad. There wasn't bad, but like you just said, it was just same as last season. Really, you've got the same 2 players in there. And the same players in there that aren't connecting with the ball.
I think he's good. I think he's a good corner taker. I think he's fine. But if you haven't got anyone to attack him, it makes no difference.
Free kicks were decent. Yeah, good.
Yeah, no, just a quick one. Our good mate Boss Nass has started a channel last week. Go check him out too. There's another link if you want more content on Leeds United. Really good, really witty, really good graphics for someone who's just started out. Please check out Boss Nass's channel. Sean will put his link back in the chat too. I want you to check that out. What's this one here? Bob Young. Question is, who do we sell? I can still see either Ramazani or Nonto going to balance the books. Hopefully not Pirou. I don't see Nonto going. I had question marks against Gruev maybe going earlier, before the sort of pre-season games kicked off. That's not happening. I kind of think the only one of Harrison or Ramazani, for me, they're the only 2 sensible players I would assume would go. And I'm leaning towards Ramazani, mate, which is a big shame. But like Adam said earlier, if he moves on, I hope he goes and smashes it. Really well.
The balance in the books thing, they spoke about this. You've got PSR, you got to the end of June next year. So the window will be, you can sell players in that window to if you've got to get up in PSR, if you've got to get some money in. So they're not particularly worried about balance the books this summer, I don't think. It's just whether a massive offer comes in for player, they probably accept it. I don't think they will, or it'll come in. And Ramazani might go, and Pirou potentially, if you're getting another striker, because again, they're just so far down the pecking order. That'd be only really.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. So that's pretty much it, I think, on our chats. I would like to just bring up, we are doing a charity walk.
Oh, yes.
2 weeks tomorrow on the 6th of September. So I'm just going to play this little clip and then I'm going to put the links in the chat. We'd love some support on this, please. But here is what we're doing. I'm absolutely crap in it because I've done it once before and it killed me. But we are walking from
Aching already, mate.
walking from Old Trafford to Elland Road. It's about 41 to 44, depends if we go wrong way like last time. Miles, it will take anything between 15 and 18 hours. Blisters upon blisters. We are raising money for 2 charities. There they are, Andy's Man Club and Leeds Autism Services. The money split equally. There's 2 links to donate. 2 go for me, so you can't put 2 on one link. So yeah, there's anything you could spend, anything you could spare to help us out would be great. My son's got autism. I've been at Andy's Man Club meeting, so both close to my heart. Sean's helping me on it. Adam's off to a wedding. Gutted. Poor excuse.
I might go to a wedding instead.
If anyone wants to sponsor me to eat a 3-course meal, get drunk, have a dance, and then
Love
I
it.
think it's hot roast in the evening. If I might put a GoFundMe page up for that as well.
Here are the links. If you click on them, one of them will be for Andy's Man Club and one of them will be for Leeds Autism Services. But the 2 links are in the chats. Anything anyone can afford to donate would mean the world to us, because don't want to be doing it for no reason. It's all to raise money, and we are going to be putting ourselves through 18.5 stone of pure blisters, and the soles of my feet are going to be audible. So yeah, anything you can do, and there'll be plenty on day. We'll be doing lives, we'll be doing little videos, be vlogging the day. There'll be loads of content on day as well, little interviews talking as we go about Leeds United. So hopefully that'll drum up the support too. But yeah, anything you want to touch on, boys, before we leave? It's been a great show as always.
What time are you setting off, Matty, tomorrow?
I'm getting picked up at 8:20 in the morning by my mate Danny Dovey, off to Garforth Witherspoons, and then the coach picks up at 9:30, and then in fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me just have a look here. I got a message on Garforth White's Facebook page telling me exactly the itinerary for the day. So let's just have a look if I can find it. I probably can't.
I'm looking forward to the vlog on that one. That'd be a good vlog as well, won't it, mate?
No, mate. Hopefully, mate. My thingy vlog did really well as well. Me Everton vlog. In fact, I can't find it because there's just loads of stuff in that group. But yeah, we get picked up at 9:30, and we're heading to Camden. I think we should get to Camden around dinner time-ish, because I've been told we'll probably be in there for 3 or 4 hours, maybe, which is a bit mental. So yeah, I've got my very manly fruit ciders. Ready to go in my rucksack for the coach. It's a bad one because I'm going with these lads, and it's all like, make sure you got your beers for coach, Matty. And I'm like, yeah, mate. Make sure you bring whatever you think you need, mate. Bring more. I'm like, yeah, mate. Yeah, of course I will. I've got 10 cans, mate. I'm not gonna get nowhere near that. I was more bothered about. I embarrassed myself when I said, when we get to Camden, is that food market over at work? Can we go? Like, no, we're off to pub, Matty. I'm like, I want to go to food market. So we'll see how it goes. I just want to go to a football game, but apparently it's all about the ale you drink. So I'm probably not going to fit in. But it is what it is. We'll see how we go. But yeah, I can't wait for it, lads. It's going to be class. Going to be absolutely class, regardless of result. They're a good set of lads, and lasses. They're a good group on Garforth White's coaches. So, yeah, absolutely love it. Right, boys.
Next week, lads. We don't know if we're doing next week, do we? Just letting the chat know.
Yeah, next week. Why?
I'm in Scotland, Loch Lomond.
You are. Week. Oh, and I'm going to Skegness, but I might be going on Saturday now. But
so we don't know. So bear with. But I won't be here next week.
You might not be. We may replace you, or we may do it another day, or we may just not do it at all. But then what are these lovely folks to do on a Friday without us?
I can do it by myself.
I like to give them notice just in case they actually want to do something on the Friday night instead of being here.
Yeah, well, thanks everyone who's been in chat. So thanks so much,
cheers, guys.
Really good. 133 watching. Please slap a like on the way out, and please do me a favour. Please check out Boss Nass's link, and please go check out Sean at Wilco White's. You will not regret it. Adam, thanks so much. Sean, thanks so much. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.